A couple of weeks back, the new electricity minister, Minister Ramakopa, he did a tour of all the Eskom power plants, and he gave a talk a couple of weeks back, basically giving a report on his visit to all these power stations. And in general, I feel that the electricity minister at least has a good idea as to what the power station or what the power system looks like. And he perhaps has a generally good idea as to what needs to happen for us to get out of the crisis that we're in. But there were a few statements that the minister made that I feel need to be corrected. Statements specifically relating to renewables. So, for example, the minister said that our coal fleet, he spoke about our fleet of generation technologies or generation capacity. He said that our coal fleet is basically around Mpumalanga. And he said then that our renewables fleet is in Northern Cape.
The renewable energy complex in this country is in the Northern Cape, but the grid capacity is in Mpumalanga, coming to the center and to the south for obvious reasons, because mines are constructed, power stations are constructed at the mouth of these mines, closer to source, so closer to feedstock. But your renewable energy complex is in the Northern Cape.
Now, he's right in the sense that coal is situated in Mpumalanga for the most part. But when he says that renewables is in the Northern Cape, he is not completely right over there. The Northern Cape, yes, it does have a lot of solar resource. There's a lot of sun there, but not so much wind. The Northern Cape doesn't have the best wind in the country. Some of our best wind is rather at the coastline. Also, he stated that renewables come online, or he said that there's a morning peak, and then he said that there's an evening peak. And he said that renewables come online after the morning peak and they go offline before the evening peak.
The renewables, they come in at 8:30 to 4:30. My peak is earlier than that in the morning and later than that in the evening.
And so you get this idea then that the minister, when it comes to speaking about renewables, he's only speaking about, or he's referring mainly to solar power. He's not considering wind. So in South Africa, we do have good solar, we do have good sunlight, but we also have good wind. And our wind resource is even better than our solar resource. So when it comes to considering renewables, it's important for us to consider both solar and to consider wind. And we must also understand that these technologies operate very differently. He's correct in saying that solar comes online after the morning peak and it goes offline before the evening peak. He's correct in saying that. But when it comes to wind is available 24 hours a day. And, studies, our wind atlases have shown that, there are some times of low wind, but overall, the wind is always blowing somewhere in the country. And given the amount of wind resource that we have, we could run, CSIR did the study and they've shown that we can run the country on 70% solar and wind, with wind taking up the majority or the bulk of the renewables resource. And the balance of the 70%, or the balance of the 100%, the 30% would consist of whatever is remaining of Eskom and flexible generation. Flexible generation, as I've mentioned, like gas to power, CSP. There's storage like batteries, hydrogen, pump storage. The minister then stated that we need to change our mindset of putting renewables against fossil fuels. He said that we can't be thinking renewables versus fossil fuels. We need to be thinking of both of these working together.
It's not fossil fuels or renewables, it's both.
And here again, the minister is perhaps only half right. If when he's thinking of fossil fuels, if he's thinking about coal, then he's wrong. Renewables do not work well with coal-fired power stations, because coal-fired power stations are baseload power stations. They need to be run at full capacity for most of the time in order for them to be cost-effective. Renewables are variable, and to complement renewables, you need flexible generation, and these are the technologies that I've mentioned. And so renewables does not work very well with baseload coal. So it is a competition between renewables and baseload coal. But if by fossil fuels the minister meant gas or diesel, then yes, there is a possibility of renewables working with fossil fuels. So we could have renewables supplying the bulk of our energy, and then being complemented by flexible generation in the form of gas, to power. Again, if we're thinking of fossil fuels, coal doesn't work very well with renewables, but gas does, because gas to power is flexible generation.